Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and in this part I'll be completing the trading sequence, completing all of the auctions, and showing off the entirety of the Savage Labyrinth. By that I mean the half that I hadn't showed off. Yeah, I forgot to show off that in the main playthrough. It is more effective that he literally calls you a moron because you named your character that. And I don't know why they put this here. Like, why can't they just put this chest that needs an arrow to access after you've gotten the bow? There's actually a funny glitch associated with that text box that pops up. If you're holding the giant pig and you stand between the two islands on Outset Island on the bridge, it'll slowly float away from you while that text box is shown up. But yeah, I'm going to be showing off the trading sequence being completed, and obviously I'll be doing a lot of cuts, so it won't really be that big of a deal. I really like the way some of the idols look. Like this one. This one looks really pretty, even though it's not really painted. I wish we could have an option to paint it. Like, I guess that would be nice. Like, in general, all of the decorations look nice. Like, they're very colorful. And they're different prices from each other, too, so I think that decorating the gate of Windfall Island with different things will cause the green-shirted man in front of it to give you different stuff as a reward, like money, and I think he gives you a treasure chart. But it's unintuitive trying to figure out how to get him to give you the best reward. Like, I decorated the gate with town flowers, and that didn't really impress him. It's pretty expensive decorating the entire town, and you don't really get anything for it. Like, you only need to put down 14 decorations to get a piece of heart. And I hate that stupid restriction with the Goron. Like, you can only trade me so many things. Like, it's so pointless because you have the Song of Passing anyway, so what's the point of even implementing that restriction? That's a really cool looking idol. It's all, like, it's full of skulls and everything. Why is there a maximum of 3? I mean, there's clearly at least 3 more slots in your bag. What's the point of making the delivery bag that big if you're only allowed to have 3 decorations in it? Like, with monster spoils, you can have, like, 99 of one joy pendant. So, why the hell can't you just have as many decorations as you want? Why can't one decoration type fill up 1 slot? I don't understand why they have to limit it like this. Especially since it makes decorating the entire town really tedious. Because you constantly have to keep going back to the shopkeeper and buying more items every single time that you get more of them. I think I show off a glitch in this part that basically you can completely destroy an item that you have by using the stop and swap glitch on the item and the statue. And basically you can make it so that you destroy by throwing away the item rather than the decoration. And I used that to get rid of the Cabana D because it's worthless at this point in the game. So that's really cool that you can do that. I only showed that off until now because I completely forgot that they, for some reason, decided to hide rupees there. Like, how are you supposed to know they're even allowed to go back there in the first place? I used to think that you needed to float over here with the Deku Leaf, but you can actually just jump down, so... Windfall Island is pretty appropriately named because it's the financial center of the world, and Windfall can literally mean great financial gain. Like, it makes sense that the world is, like, the town is a financial center of the world because it feels genuinely populated, because you can talk to everyone there. Like, in Castletown, there were a huge amount of people walking in the streets, but you couldn't talk to any of them, so you didn't feel like real people, if that makes any sense. With Windfall Island, it feels populated because you can talk to every single person. Like, the town feels alive. So, get this. This side quest is about proving that Lenzo isn't dating this old woman. But the thing is, how is this picture supposed to prove that? If anything, this picture could prove the opposite. But instead, you show that picture to the gossipy ladies, and then they're like, oh, I guess we were completely wrong then. That's so stupid. And her saying, don't go take this the wrong way, really does sound like she's just denying it implausibly because you're a kid. Why would they just assume that... I know that they know that that lady loves photographs, but you think that that would provide even more case for them dating. Because they have something in common, they have a common interest. Like, they should make it more obvious that they're lying to Link. I don't know why I always thought when I was a kid that you could also give the skull necklaces to her. She's the mother of the pirate with the pig catching minigame, which for some reason you can only activate by giving him skull necklaces. I don't know why you can't just activate it by talking to him normally, like with Andrew in Mish Cap. I wish it wasn't so unintuitive trying to get him to give you stuff. Oh yeah, and you can also get a free potion. I don't understand why it takes 5 glops. Like, that one glop on its own looks gigantic enough to be more than enough to make 1 potion. Why do you need 5 of them? It seems arbitrary. In the HD version of the game, there's only 3 Triforce shards that you have to fish up. So, that's convenient. The thing is that the director of the HD version of the game played Wind Waker when it came out. And he actually asked his developers why they made the decision that he disliked. Well, I like that. Like, it takes a level of maturity to say, I didn't like this decision you made with the game, but why did you do it? Like, actually wanting to know why. Like, it is cool that they actually got someone who played the game to find all of the problems and fix it. Which makes it all the more glaring that there's so many problems with Wind Waker that they didn't actually fix in the HD version. Like, again, just think of how much better the remake could have been. Like, that's basically how I see it anyways. I know that's nostalgia, but still. To me, it just wasn't quite good enough. I think that even Ocarina of Time's 3DS version was a much better remake than that. A fun glitch with this minigame that I discovered on my own as a kid was that if the pigs are all in the water by the time that he calls them back to him, they'll be called back to the land, but they'll be swimming in the land, which is really cool. You won't be able to attack them, but you'll be able to just pick them up a lot easier, and I guess that can make the minigame a lot easier when you try it again, unless they respawn them. That would kind of destroy that strategy. Yeah, like, when it turns into normal water, you can pour it and it just vanishes. But when you have the forest water and it's active, then it actually makes it so that it's infinite. Like, it never runs out. It's not like you can only pour it a certain amount of times. So there's a room for error, which is good. And this guy says different things depending on what direction the wind is blowing. I didn't have the patience to show off all the text. I'd just be mashing through it anyways, so. The GameCube version of the game has 2 different cutscenes for the grappling hook rope going around the levers. Well, the HD port only keeps the shorter version. So, that's good. But it's like they clearly only found problems to fix for the Zelda remakes through a lazy Google search. Like, they just fixed one of the setups for the storage glitch, the Wind Waker dive, rather than fixing the actual glitch, because that Wind Waker dive was the only variety of setting it up that they saw a video on. The waterfronts created in front of the ship from sailing are actually stuck to the boat. Like, they're a permanent part of the boat's model when you sail, rather than actually being created from the water itself. And they actually clip into the ship sometimes, which they actually kept in the HD version. You think they would, like, touch up the graphics since they decided to touch up the lighting, but... Why, yes, I am going to be cheating all of these auctions. Why wouldn't I? Another thing is, they actually would have named Errol Meryl, after Marin from Link's Awakening, not after the Pokemon. Now, I can see why they decided not to do it then. But yeah, it makes sense, because Errol was based on Marin. Like, she even has a hibiscus flower in her hair. And she has flowers in her dress and stuff. And I think Marin was supposed to have blonde hair, and so is Errol. Inside the forest of Forest Haven, you can actually hear a bit of Saria's song in the music. If you listen really closely, I mean. Like, I like how nothing is really hammered into as a remix of a song from an older game. So, it's like the entire soundtrack still feels original, even if it does, like, rip off some songs from previous games. Like, again, I never knew that Kakariko Village's theme was in Windfall Island until much later in my life. Another plot hole is, why does the Great Deku Tree know how to speak Link's language? You could say he was the Island Koroks, but the Island Koroks don't talk to humans. The Great Deku Tree said that they fear humans. They stay away from them. So why did they learn their language and tell the Great Deku Tree what the language was? The same logic for, like, if anything, it should be Valu who's able to speak Link's language, because he regularly interacted with Arito, who spoke the normal language. Whereas the Great Deku Tree was completely isolated, just like Jabba. So why the hell is the Great Deku Tree able to speak Link's language, when Valu isn't? That's stupid. But again, that's only a plot hole that you learn much later in life when you overthink it. Like, plot holes do not make a story bad. Anyone who criticizes the SC2 plot really needs to learn that. As long as the plot still has enough good things about it, and is enjoyable as a whole when you're watching it as a whole, I don't really see why it's bad just because it has, like, holes in it. What is bad is this minigame. It takes forever. Basically, what I did was, I listened to music while I went all the way up to 999. And you are going to need to switch to switch targeting mode, because your hand is going to hurt from holding down the L button on the GameCube controller for that long. Like, I came so close to getting the piece of heart from him. At least I was able to show off the purple rupee. But yeah, after that, I listened to music, and I got all the way up to 999. Like, you'd think that the best strategy would be to just parry, but it really is better to just block every time you hear the sound effect of Link's sword clanking onto his spear. So it's like, constantly attack him, do combos, and when he blocks, you just hold up the shield. Because if you try to play it really safe and just do parries and that's it, it's going to take forever, because the parries deal more hits to him, because one parry does like 2 hits. But it's really not worth it because you have to wait for such a long time before you're able to do any parries. Sometimes if you hookshot a Redead, the game will freeze because they tried to pull it towards you, even though that action was never programmed into the game. So that kinda sucks. I'm going to be showing a bit more of the footage of me actually playing through this Savage Labyrinth because the fights are more difficult. But I'm still probably going to be, like, cutting to the ends of every fight for the most part. And, like, obviously playing music because it's really annoying hearing Link constantly screaming over and over again when I'm constantly cutting to this. Most of Dragon Roost Cavern is either just beat enemies or do the same basic puzzles over and over. Forsaken Woods has neat puzzles, but it feels constrained and enclosed for a woods, and it lacks depth. It's similar to the Kokiri Woods emblem with its doors. So it doesn't entirely feel original, because it's just the Kokiri Forest again. It's just like how Dragon Roost Cavern was heavily based on Like, it's very heavily implied that it's just Dodongo's cavern again. That Dragon Roost Island is what remains of Death Mountain from Ocarina of Time. So I like that they have that extra bit of lore there, but it's not, like, obvious. I'm not really sure why the Gorons aren't living in Death Mountain anymore, though. Like there's only 3 in the Great Sea. But in Phantom Hourglass, there's a huge island full of Gorons. So why did the Gorons randomly decide to leave Hyrule and go live there? It's just like in Minish Cap, like the Gorons love to randomly go extinct for no good reason. I don't understand that. Like, there's plenty of rocks for them to eat. Like, you can't say it's because they ate their mountain, and so they go extinct from lack of food. Because Minish Cap had this huge mountain for the Gorons to eat. So, why didn't all the Gorons just live there and become plentiful again? Like, I just don't understand why there's only 3 Gorons in the Great Sea, but in the Dream Dimension in Phantom Hourglass, there's a whole village of them. And I think there's Gorons in Spirit Tracks too. Like, I don't understand why the Gorons aren't the ones living in Dragon Roost Cavern. Like, it seems made for them. I don't think that was worth the piece of art, to be honest. But yeah, I'm finally done. And I didn't even get to say everything that I wanted to say. So that was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. Like, it was like 44 parts. Or 42 or something. And I still managed to have enough to talk about. And the next Zelda LP is going to be Twilight Princess, but that's probably not going to be for quite a while, because it took forever just for me to make this one. So, see you then.